Rushi, and welcome to another episode of Listen to the Future, UNICEF Sri Lanka's podcast series on the lead up to Children's Day.
This is Jatuj and Mahendran, UNICEF Youth Advocates.
Today, Jatu and I are here to talk about just how much we love being involved, or as the Convention on the Rights of the Child says, the right to participation. So just to get started off, what has participation meant to you, Jatujan, as a young person growing up in Sri Lanka who cares about the rights and privileges that he has?
From my end, I'll go with meaningful participation. It means like how can raising my voice about my needs. Okay, I need these things. Okay, you have to fulfill these things. So raising my voice for my needs with a meaningful impact. So that's up to me for the right to participation.
I mean, even for me, participation initially started with the need to, be heard and to feel like I have a voice that matters. And through UNICEF, I've actually gotten to sort of speak out about the things I believe in quite often, whether it be things like child marriage or the climate. And I actually started my advocacy journey quite young, just like Jatujan did. How old were you when you started?
I think my journey started around 15 to 16. Like in that time, I was in school, like I raising my voice. Okay, we have to do this. We need this. Like it's quite a lot from ground. Then Thoreau, just walk us through what the specific experience you have in the right to participate in your young age or child age.
I think I always, how in Sri Lanka, when you're like a young kid, the doctor say, they say, oh, I sort of had that tag growing up. But it worked out for me because being outspoken was something that, while Sri Lanka is still sort of getting used to appreciating it in young people, spaces like UNICEF did appreciate it a lot in me, and I'm actually grateful for that because I feel like I had the privilege of growing up feeling like my voice was valued. And my first experience with UNICEF was actually at another this conference, an UN conference that was happening on the national scale, and we were asked to give speeches on an essay we had written, and we were given 5 minutes. But I was a bit annoyed because I'm like, how can you solve the world's problems in 5 minutes, So I just walked up to the UNICEF rep who had come that day, and I was like, I need more time. So he was like, yeah, take all the time you need. And I did, and it was 20 minutes long, and they asked the other participants not to take that long. But that is where my journey started, and since then it's like UNICEF gives me the platform, and I just sort of come and be a bit pandita, and it works out. But unfortunately, this is not how participation in Sri Lanka is viewed in general, though, and Sri Lanka does have quite far to go. I mean, I'm Judge, I don't know what your experience has been like. Do you feel like spaces other than organizations like this or the organizations you've worked with actually give young people and children enough priority in terms of listening to their opinions?
Actually, I would like to start from the home because everything starts from small, right? Like I think when I was in kid, my voice being heard because that's an example I can give you. Like I think my mom and dad asked me which color you want to paint to in your room, right? I feel like that means okay. They are asking my opinion. So if I say something, they are respecting my voice even though. So from the family, it started for me. Then later on when I moved into schools, because all the young people and young children, they are spending most of time in their schools. When I was in school, I had an opportunity to take part of a program called Skills for Life. That program literally upskill us. From that program, we have to do some projects. So we identified some issues in our school. We did a cycle share and we did a garbage bin collection. Actually, we address those issues in our school committee, school administration committee. They respect even our voice. They accept on for it to do those projects. So those are one of the key experience from my family and school, where my voice being heard. So how they value my opinion, my right in participation. When it comes to the UNICEF, I've been taking part of UNICEF U-Report is a digital platform that's give you a platform to share your opinion. So I'm taking part of UNICEF U-Report as a young person the steering committee member for the South Asian also. From that, I shared my voice. Okay, these are the issues we have in particular region. My friends facing these issues. So we are raising voice from our end. Then I think we have another sweet moment where we first met. There's a the panel discussion reimagine for the future. I think you hosted that session. Like in that also, I'm talk about mental health, how it affect me. Especially in that time, there's around 2 or 3 suicide happened in my school. There's my senior. So I feel so bad about that. So I wanted to address those issues. So I had opportunity in UNICEF, the panel discussion. So I raised about mental health, how it affects us, how young people are struggling on that. So these are opportunities gave me to this floor to like raise my voice. It's a right to participation. Mm. And Tarushi, walk us through how you think Sri Lanka the opportunities in the Sri Lanka national wide the right to participate happens for children and youth.
I mean, so I've actually been, part of different initiatives of even, governments sometimes. I was in like this parliamentary oversight committee on education once, and there is a quota for youth representatives all the time, but it's rarely met. And, one of the main things I noticed about it is like when I was there, I was able to be there because I had the privilege of taking time off. I was working at the time, so it was taking time off school. I was able to travel here and there, and I feel like the right to participation in Sri Lanka, I mean, the spaces that should be given to young people aren't given as much as they should be. And even when that space is given, it's given with so many restrictions. And most of the time, we are a developing country, so we come with restrictions from home. We don't always have the money to go everywhere. We don't always have, we can't always expect all of the voices that, all of the young voices in society that need to be heard to be able to afford to be heard. And this is actually like a big obstacle that I've noticed when it comes to participation. The fact that, governments especially expect young people to contribute for free, which I don't think is fair because you pay for expert opinions. You should be able to at least facilitate the expenses of, the future generations that deserve to have an input. And I feel like as a country, there is so much more that we need to do. And, as a country that's also experiencing a lot of young people moving away, making sure that they are involved in our decision making is more important than ever. And we do have quite far to go, I would say. I've just spoken about the government, but even when it comes to just mindsets that adults have about what children and young people have to say, there's a lot to do, in terms of changing how our opinions are viewed. I mean, it's pretty hard to be taken seriously as a young person, So Sri Lanka has far to go, but I think, Jatha, that, the opportunities that people like you and I have had can attest to just how far, like, listening to young people and letting us participate not only, impacts the greater goals of everything we do, but even changes our lives. Like, we went to COP together last year, and I know that was like a life-changing experience for both of us. I mean, it was your first time flying, and you had quite a few amazing experiences, if I remember correctly. And it gave you an exposure to to other innovators like you who are working on eco-friendly products. It helps me with my policy interests. And I feel like Dubai was pretty life-changing for both of us. It was your first time flying abroad, and it was my first time attending like an international conference as a delegate. If you want to share what meeting other innovators from across the world was like.
How those opportunities helped me to raise my voice. So I would like to again start from the back, like the program I mentioned in my school, the skill so Actually, you need the foundational skills to like speak about how you can communicate effectively, how you can communicate clearly. Okay, these are the needs I have, these are the needs my community has. So those foundational skills were developed me through that program. Then later on, okay, so when I raised my voice, so I got other next opportunities. From that opportunity, like I can practice. Okay, first time I talk about this issue. So maybe in that time I feel like, oh, I didn't say that clearly. So next time, okay, I just structured in a good way. So those opportunities platform always help me to upskill myself, like evolve, like from zero to one, then two. So like these opportunities literally help us like raise our needs in very narrow. Then the who are in the position to decision makers, they can do they can include our opinion in easily. And also like those opportunity like bring the mindset, okay, only we can work for ourselves. Okay, we have the issue, my community have the issue, so I have to raise my voice. So that mindset built in me because of this opportunity. From that mindset, okay, I'm starting off another issue. What are the other issues my community facing? What are the other issues my friends are facing? So how can I at least do something for them? So how can I raise their voice on behalf of them from my voice? So this opportunity really gives a platform to evolve myself, to communicate clearly, and like be more confident about to say, okay, these are the needs what I have, these are the needs what my community have. So I can go like that. From that, I'm participating in lots of national and international programs. We've been, as Tarushya, we've been COP, we are raising our voice, okay, in Sri Lanka. Mainly we were focused on Sri Lankan education system, okay. These are happening in Sri Lanka, like how we can improve like that thing. So we got those kind of opportunity, like yeah, we have some chance to like. But what do you think, Tarushya, what are the struggles you have been faced, or like what your friends faced, like when it comes to the right to participation?
I did mention a few of the struggles before as well, but when you were sharing your story, I just realized that, I mean, for the benefit of our audience, Jathajan actually learned English on his own through by participating in the conferences that he went to, and that to me is very impressive because you're from Batiklo, and the fact that you were able to grasp a whole subject on your own, that just goes to show just how, just how hard young people have to work to be recognized, because Jathajan shouldn't have to learn English to be heard. Our systems should be able to facilitate him in the language that he does know. But the fact that he was able to overcome that challenge and, communicate with the leaders of this country in the language that they do understand, and still also fight through the bureaucracy of being heard, it's just very impressive, and it's also reflective of the challenges that young people do have. That being said, I think, like I said before, the stigma being taken seriously is one of the most difficult challenges to overcome, because like when I was a part of the parliamentary oversight committee, like I was the one that I mentioned earlier, it really annoyed a lot of people that this 18-year-old was giving opinions on the education system, which I didn't understand back then, and I don't really understand now either, because education, if you look at it like a product, I am the customer. If it's not working out for me, then you need to hear it from me. And so that is one of the challenges that I definitely see being taken seriously. And secondly, the fact that information receiving spaces and information sharing spaces are always restricted to, for lack of a better word, the older parts of the community. Like, especially in South Asia, we have this stereotype that, with age comes knowledge and wisdom. But I think we've kind of come to realize now with the advent of social media that young people can be pretty smart and wise too. And that is something that we need to sort of, that mindset is something that we've definitely struggled with. I know you have as well. Even in spaces, international spaces like COP, like we haven't had a young youth representation, a formal youth representation at COP. We didn't have it until last year when Yongo got really active. So that is another one of the challenges. And obviously, young people don't just come to you with problems, we also come with solutions. And something that I personally really believe in is, I mean, sounds like a buzzword, but empowerment at the grassroots level. Like, the same way that the organization that you were working with helped you sort of build your English up and build your skills up. I think organizations getting involved with young people across Sri Lanka, not just in Colombo, at that grassroots level and picking people out is one of the ways in which that we can sort of bridge this gap that exists. And I mean, Jatajan, you probably have a lot of suggestions as well on how we can make it better.
Yeah, like the suggestion before, like I actually I have to connect with the issues that I face, like my friends face, like the obstacles and the challenges, but then I can connect it to the recommendation. The first I'll go with the cultural norm. Usually, like even in a family, if there's a girl child want to speak about their need, they say, "Hey, you are a girl, you don't want to speak," like the very basic, simple cultural norm that have to be break down. So than that actually the lack of platforms for the children and young people in the out of like the Colombo city area. Like I'm from particular, like yeah, okay, I'm particular. I'm in kind of a city area, so I got at least some opportunity. And what do you think about like the other village kids, village students, how they can raise their voice? So those lacks of platforms are one of the major issues in my community. Than that, even they had the opportunity to speak up, like are they have the skills to speak literally, what do you think about our Sri Lankan education system? It just focusing on the exams and marks. It really did it develop the soft skill and life skill, at least how to speak with others. I say no, it not, because I'm also being that system. So I think the undeveloped skills for the kids and young people, those are the main issues what I feel. Through that, what my recommendation is, like giving the platform to them speak, meanwhile upskill them the very basic fundamental skill, like how to communicate well, how to identify the issues, how we can suggest something from our end, like how we can clearly say, okay, this is in the kid perspective, so you have to solve these issues. So, like this is how we are impacting. Maybe like the decision making, they always they're like older level, so they can't understand what our preference, our means the children preference, the young preference. So we have the basic skills to like the life skills and soft skills to like speak about clearly, communicate clearly, and identify the issues, identify the needs from that. Than that, how yeah, I can share my own experience. Like when we in a school, like there are some organizing events happen, like we have national, district, provincial level events. In that time, like we are a group, we went to our principal, like okay, we said, okay, this event going to happen, we are a young group from a particular program, we have to support them. So we connected them, we really support them. Later on, there was a funding came to our school. The principal, he come and ask us, do we have any need, do you want to buy anything, do you have anything? So from that, what I feel was, okay, if you raise your voice first time, then they know, okay, there's young people, they are actively working on their. After that, they have the mind, okay, we can ask them, we can involve them also. So after got the funding, we really bought some practical things for our studies, then we did well. So from that, okay, what I said, first raise your voice first. From that, okay, you can give an image of your, okay, you can speak well about you. And from that, I think the obstacle will come automatically to you. Yeah, you mentioned about the decision making at national level, right? So we were working on climate change from like last from year. Like we know, like in our NDCs, the child and young perspective, there's no any child sensitive NDCs. From that, okay, I can share a example from UNICEF. UNICEF, what we did was like we communicated with around 350 children. We we uh, we com- we created a declaration on disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation. So actually, what it means is like those 350 children raise their voice. Okay, they have these needs when they're facing their natural disaster, when they're facing their climate change effect. So from those examples, like in UNICEF, we are providing platform to children to speak about their needs. So same like that, we need more platform, we need more opportunity to speak about the children issues by themselves. So this is one of the example we can I can say from our end the platforms what we have, what we create, but we need more. There's not only 350. There's a bunch of children are living in Sri Lanka. So all those platforms have to be in all over the area. So we have to like raise our voice for more platform to young people speak. You mentioned like in their local language, because language is one of the biggest barrier to in other outer area. Like if in Colombo, like people mostly speak Sinhala, English, even Tamil, but in other area they only more fluent in their native language. From that only they can communicate well, because in the native language only you can communicate your feelings. So in their local land, the platform wants to be for all, at the same time in their local native language. So that's my suggestion. Again, Tarsh, you walk us through, like, do you have any other solution from your end?
I mean, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there, and it goes without saying that in Sri Lanka, most child and youth participation in things comes in informal settings. Like we are always, that's why if young people were heard, let's say in the parliamentary levels, in the provincial councils, or in those, if we were allowed into those decision making tables, onto the tables, there would be no reason for young people to have to step out on the streets every time something happens. That's why young people's favorite form of communication in Sri Lanka has become protest, because that is the only space that is sort of carved out for anything that we have to say. And now, thanks to social media, we have that space. So that is not how it should be, in my opinion. And as a country that has seen just how strong youth movements can be, I dare to like dream just how much bigger our impact can be if you were actually listening to us. And we'll be celebrating 35 years of the Convention on the Rights of the Child on the 20th of November, and we've come so far, but there's still so far to go. And I'm just excited to see how we as young people drive this movement. But I'm also very curious to see how you take on this baton. The adults out there, the people in places of power, how you take on the baton of making sure that we are heard about our own future. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Listen to the Future. We want to wish you a happy Children's Day, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for listening. Okay, we will see you in the next episode. Happy Children's Day.